Hey y'all, Elise here from Just Things with Elise, and it is that time again to go over our budget from our previous paycheck to our paycheck that we just got on the 14th. And I have to admit, I've been bit by the budget bug. We already budget regularly, but I never recorded it until I did the channel video swap with my friend Lalina from WhyNotBudget. If you haven't checked out her channel, go over there. I will put a link to it down in the description box. But ever since I did that video, I have been ready. Like, I couldn't wait for our next check so that I could make a budgeting video again. And so it is that time. As I said, I think I said the 15th. We got our last check on the 28th, and then my husband gets paid on the 1st, so we'll get another check in a few days. But we budget from paycheck to paycheck for my checks, and then we just add his into it when he gets paid. So now, before we get started with the new pay period budget, we're going to go over the budget from the last video to see how we did. And I have everything written down as far as expenses. I'll show you. And it's the same as I had it on the last video, where I wrote everything down and then color coded it so that I could pretty much just add up each color to see how much we spent. We actually went over to the second page. And so it's just everything written down, and it makes it a lot easier when you go to actually fill out the budget. So let's go ahead and do that now so that we can get on to the good stuff, which is the current budget. And so for the mortgage, of course, that stayed exactly what it should have. Put my little dollar sign. And just going through and filling out the bills first. And we did pay the $80 to Care Credit. We only have $12, I think, left for the current deferred interest. So that is going to be due on the 16th. So we're going to go ahead and pay that plus some more. We're still going to pay $80 so that the next deferred interest payment, which will be over in February of 2019, and this is from getting our dog neutered, this one that's coming up in February. But if we keep paying $80 by February, we'll be done. Well, before February, actually, we'll be done paying that off too, and so we won't have to pay any interest on it. It'll just be the price that it was for him to be neutered. And for Discover, we paid the exact amount. Pretty much for all of these, it's going to be exactly what we budgeted for. All of these bills during this part of the month are the set price bills, so they don't fluctuate like the ones earlier in the month, like gas or electric or something like that. Alright, and since this is all the exact same as that, it came out to $1408.49. Excuse my handwriting. See, I already have 2 mess ups. Gotta get in the game, focus, concentrate. And so for our cash envelopes, and if you saw the last video, you know why I did those air quotes. If not, I will put a link to that video above and below so that you can get caught up on our current budget and how much we ended up spending in the last pay period, and how we set where we were going to spend this current pay period that we're adding up right now. And so for the groceries over the last 2 weeks, we ended up only spending $45.42. We really need to do a real grocery shopping trip sometime soon, though. But we were pretty much just picking up necessities as we needed them over the last 2 weeks. And so for eating out, we actually spent $35.46 for gas and an oil change. We did not get an oil change. I know, don't beat us up. We will get it for real. And we're going on a trip next weekend to Houston, so we definitely are going to get it before then. And we did also ended up getting gas twice over the last 2 weeks because we went to San Antonio for last weekend, I think, for my husband's Founders Day for his fraternity. He's in Iota Phi Theta, and it was their Founders Day last week, and they celebrated it for his chapter last weekend. And so we drove down there, and that cost a little bit of gas, so we ended up having to get some more before the next pay period. So we spent $54.74 on gas. Then for entertainment, we did not spend any money. For miscellaneous, there were some payments that I was unaware of that we were going to have to be making over the last 2 weeks. Some things that my husband had to pay that I didn't know about, and then he ended up that was out of his own money for that. It was just some stuff that I didn't know about, pretty much. And so for William's budget, this is where the stuff I didn't know about as far as payments that he had to make and all of that came into play. So his ended up being $67.13. So that's just $17 over what it was supposed to be, but still, I wish I knew about it so I could have prepared. But for my budget, I only ended up spending $31.27. So it balances out. And then for the wedding, we have only spent $60 so far, and that was for the deposit for my husband's suit because he's actually in the wedding. And so we will end up needing the whole amount that we budgeted, though. We just didn't have to pay it yet. So we're just going to roll over the remaining balance and add that to the budget that we're about to make. So it'll end up being $240 that we put aside for that instead of $150. And now, oh no, I don't have a calculator. I knew I forgot something. So one moment, let me go get a calculator and see how much we ended up spending on personal expenses. And I'm back. I had to get my husband's phone to use his calculator. And so let's add these things up, shall we? See, isn't it sad though that I had to get the calculator? So we got 45.42 plus 35.46, 54.74, 58.51, 67.13, and 31.27. So $292.53 is what we spent. And we had how much budgeted? $590. So we still have $297.47 that we did not spend for that. Lord, what am I doing? I don't really know where to write that now that I think about it, so I won't. And let's add up what we actually spent the last 2 weeks. So it's $1408.49 plus $292.53. So we only spent $1,701.02. So we have a difference of $297.47. I don't know why I just did that. All right, that's gonna roll over. I'm just gonna write it at the bottom, roll over. Let's see. So now that we have that taken care of, let's get to the nitty gritty. The reason you're watching this video, the budget for this pay period. And it's going to be September 29th through, let's see, what is it, October the 12th, I think. Let me just make sure. Yes. So September 29th through October the 12th is what we're budgeting for now. Get his phone out of the way. And our mortgage actually went up this month. So for the next year, I guess, I don't know, it's gonna be $1,676.28, and it used to be $1,521.25. So we'll have to adjust the budget a little bit to make up that difference. But let's get to it. Get down to business. And so first I'm gonna write what this budget is for, which is what? This is September 29th through October 12th. And what do I have? Budgeted, actual, plus and minus. Budgeted, actual, plus or minus. And I think I'm actually not even going to put lines on it this time because I want to just get right to it, basically. I will put these lines, well, this line across the top, and then to separate each time we split up the categories. So what we have to budget for this 2 weeks, and so far budgeting the mortgage every 2 weeks instead of waiting until it's due to just have the money has been all right. I'm gonna keep trying that so we can get it perfected. And so the first thing that's going on the list will be our mortgage. Then the next will be our payment to our cousin Carlos. And so what we are going to split the mortgage into is just right down the middle, 50-50. So it's going to be $838.14. And for Carlos, it'll be $105. And we have the Amex bill, $35. Our electric bill, that's gonna be, I actually knew how much the electric bill was, but I forgot to write it down. I'm gonna say $75. I think it was 76 and some change though. Just be on the safe side, I'll say 77. And our Capital One, 25. Netflix. And I was right that it's time for us to start paying Netflix again. And it's up to $11.90 now. Mohila is for my husband's student loans. It's $121.54. Node Bank of America card. And I believe it's $48, but I'm still gonna put $50. Our gas bill. Rooms to go. And car insurance. Let me make sure that this is everything. Oh, and my phone bill, because they've started taking the payment out on the 7th now instead of the 14th like it used to be. Alright, I think that is everything. So for the Atmos, I don't know how much that's going to be. It's been around $40 lately, so I'll say $40. Rooms to go, it's just going to be the minimum payment of $22. Our car insurance actually went down now, so it's only $160. It was $168.65 last time, so I'm guessing it'll be that again this time. And then my phone bill is $47.50. And yeah, that's it for that. Make another line. Oh Lord, I apologize in advance for this line. Hello Riggs, how are you? Then, right, total. Then our expected expenses. Same old. Groceries. Eating out. Gas/oil change. My money. William's money. The wedding. Miscellaneous. And entertainment. Alright, now let's fill out how much we're gonna budget for that. Okay, so this is part 2 of the budget video. Last night was a movie date night and it was time to go, so I had to stop recording. So we're just picking up where we left off last night, and we finished going over everything as far as expected bills, and now we're going down to just expenses from the 29th through the 12th and filling out how much we're going to budget for each one of those. And so for groceries, I'm still going to stick with 100, even though it's not, well, we haven't been reaching it. I'd rather be on the safe side. And now my pen doesn't want to work. Let's see. And for eating out, I'll just do 40. We shouldn't have to eat out in these next 2 weeks. And if we do, it shouldn't go over $40. Let's see, for gas and oil change. Since we did end up getting gas twice the last pay period. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to $60 this time, just to be on the safe side. And so the oil change is usually about $70. So 60 and 70, that's $130. And let's see. For me, well, for both of us, it'll still just be $50. And for the wedding, since we only ended up having to spend $60 of what we had budgeted for the last pay period, I'm gonna roll over that remaining $90 because we do need that full amount. And so for this pay period, it's gonna be $240 set aside for that. That was with it already being $150 for this pay period, so $150 plus $90, $240. And what's the next? For miscellaneous, I'll go ahead and do $100. And for entertainment, $40. We do have some stuff planned over the next 2 weeks as far as entertainment, but most of it is free, so we shouldn't have to go over that much. And I decided to add tithes and offering into this section, and it's just going to be both of ours added together. And so that'll be $322.40. And that is it for expenses. So let's go ahead and add that up. Let me try to do a better job at making this line. That's not terrible. Let's see. Budgeted, actual, plus or minus. And total. Alright, so I don't have my calculator on hand today again. So you're gonna have to bear with me actually adding this up. And yes, I'm doing it old school style. Alright, somebody fact checked me. Make sure I added that up right. 1,072.40. Hopefully that's right. And that is pretty much it. So we have, let me try to get this out of the shadow. Hopefully it doesn't make the top part come out. But we have a budgeted amount of $1,072.40 on expenses. And oh no, I forgot to add this part up too. Let's see. Alright, I believe this is $1,541.73. Is that right, y'all? It's a shame, ain't it? Let's see. I'm writing it down, so hopefully that's right. Okay, and so our budgeted amount is $1,541.73 for regular expected bills, and then for expenses it's going to be $1,072.40. So our full budgeted amount is going to be 26, 14, 13. Alrighty, so that is it. Let's see how we do. I'll see you in about 2 weeks to give you an update to see if we stuck to the budget, went over, went under. The main thing I'm worried about is the wedding budget, that we stay within that amount, and probably eating out. Like, again, I don't think that we're gonna have a reason to eat out, but we shall see. But that is the end of this video. Thank you for sticking it out with me. Please don't make too much fun of me about this math situation. I'm actually pretty good at math, but I got put on the spot, you know? It makes you nervous. But anyway, I want to thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, and if it's not your first time, thank you for coming and checking me out again. If you have not subscribed to me, please go ahead and subscribe. I have a lot of new types of videos coming ahead. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up as well. Besides all of that jargon that you have to give at the end of your video, I do want to thank you for stopping by. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.